Hello, friends. Welcome to your last assignment. Whew, we made it. Okay, this is assignment 12. It is for both U.S. History and Rise Up. So if you are in both of my classes, you only have to do this once. Okay, you doing it once counts for both classes. But this is assignment 12. It's about protesting and looting. And our aim today is looting and rioting a justified type of protesting? Why or why not? So first what you're going to do is you're going to answer the do now question. What is your response to the protests that you have seen in the streets or in the news so far? Okay, just what do you think about them? What have you seen? Stuff like that. Now let me go over a little bit of the background information about why these protests are happening and sort of the history of riots and looting as a type of protest. So why are these Black Lives Matter protests occurring right now? Well, right now, what people are protesting against is police brutality and racism in the criminal justice system, especially against Black people. And when we say the criminal justice system, we mean police, prisons, courts, anything that has to do with what happens when you get arrested, charged, etc. Um, these protests came in particular after several different stories of people, Black people who were killed by the police recently. George Floyd is the name that's being used the most. He was a Black man killed when an officer knelt on his neck for 7 minutes. Breonna Taylor is another Black woman who was killed in her home during an illegal drug raid in Louisville, Kentucky. Tony McDade was a trans Black man who was killed by police recently. So these are all the recent ones. But this has been going on for a long time. So there are countless other names that we could be listing off, right? But these are just kind of the most recent ones that spark things off. And if you click on the blue names, you can get articles that explain these specific stories if you're interested. So, what's been happening at these protests? Well, these protests against police brutality and racism in the criminal justice system have happened in every state in the United States, all 50 states. They've happened in other countries around the world. People are calling for the officers involved in these killings to be charged for their crimes. People are calling for things like defunding the police or taking money away from the police to give it to community resources like mental health care, drug recovery, education, other types of health care, right? So that's what people are calling for. The majority of these protests has been peaceful, right? No breaking things, no harming people, right? That is the truth. The vast majority have been peaceful. Some of the protesters have also turned to looting and rioting, right? That's kind of like when you destroy things or maybe like break into a store and take things, or some examples of rioting are also people have, set police cars on fire. They have set police stations, not with people in them, but police stations on fire. Okay. So that has been occurring alongside these protests. It should be noted that much of the rioting occurs at big businesses like a Target or a Walmart, but it does sometimes occur in small businesses as well. Now, in history, rioting and looting have been used alongside peaceful protests for centuries. This is not new, okay? It's often a thing that Black and other oppressed activists have used, right, as a way to really get their message out there. For example, in 1968, when Martin Luther King, who was a leader of the civil rights movement, was killed, people rioted for 10 days all across the country. And after these 10 days, a law to give more rights to Black people was passed. It's called the Civil Rights Act in 1968. Okay. Similarly, in the early 1900s, remember we learned about industrialization. People in the labor movement who were fighting for better working rights rioted many times across the country. You can look up the Haymarket riot as one example. Okay, destroying property, setting fire to things to really get their message across. And this led to laws banning child labor, requiring minimum wage, other things that improved rights for working people. So riots and looting have been happening across history, okay, alongside peaceful protests. What you're going to do is watch a video of Trevor Noah responding to these protests and what people say about these riots. And you're going to answer, you can use this glossary to help you. And then you're going to answer the questions here based on the video. So good luck. I love you and I miss you.